everyone. Welcome to the webinar on Management and Business Studies. I'm Amrita Datar and I work at the French Institute in India. I also have with me my colleague today, Mr. Vikash Gola, who's the manager of Campus Trans Mumbai, and we will be co-hosting this session together. During this session, you will get to know details about management programs in 3 of the best institutes in France about management and business courses. Let me introduce you to our brilliant panelists today. We have with us Mr. Nishit Jain from Grenoble École de Management. He is the country director in India. We have Ms. Clarisse Girardot from Toulouse Business School. She is the International Admissions and Promotion Coordinator. And from ESCP, Ms. Natalie Quinton, International Recruitment and Promotions Manager. So Vikash, my colleague now, will give you a background on studying in France and especially in management, in the field of management and business studies. Vikash, over to you.
Thank you, Amrita. So before I sort of dwell into the management studies in France, so for all the people who have joined in, for the students, so as and when the presentation is going on, if you could just type in your questions in the chat box below, so that towards the end of the presentation, we will read out the questions that you have formulated and we'll let the panel members answer your questions. Okay, so please do keep typing in your questions. Now, to give you a brief background about the management studies in France, right? So if you are a student who is interested in doing your studies in B school, you aspire to be someone who wants to work in the business world, or if you are someone who would like to develop your managerial skills. So if you fall in that particular bracket, look no further. France can offer you a whole range of possibilities. All right, so you can choose from a number of different courses and types of institutions, right? And international students are warmly welcomed and can even study in English. And in fact, you would be happy to know that there is more than 1,600 programs that are completely taught in English in France. We have a dedicated portal as well, where you can search for the examination. Of course, post the presentation, you can also visit the Campus France booth and interact with our Campus France managers who can give you a personalized counseling session also. Okay. Now, education in management and business is one of the great strengths of the French higher education system. So a master's in management or an MBA, or talking about the specialized programs, which our 3 institutions, Grenoble École de Management, Toulouse Business School, and ESCP would be talking to you about. So please do stay tuned for the presentation so that you'll get insights on the specialized programs as well. Of course, you have Masters in Management, MBA from prestigious university that are considered to be among the best in the world. In fact, you can check out the, for instance, the Financial Times rankings. You will see a lot of top French B schools being featured there because of the quality of the program. Okay, so to give you a brief idea, the French education system follows the LMD method, which is the Licence Master Doctorat. So Licence is your bachelor's level. So for students who are completing their 12th standard in India, will be entering into Licence. Master is, of course, your master's, and Doctorat is your PhD. Okay, so it's very much similar to the Indian education system as well. And just to give you a special note, in fact, schools in France have been highly proactive with measures taken to curb the spread of COVID-19. Okay, a special mention for that, and kudos to all the schools who have adapted beautifully and transitioned very well in welcoming the Indian students. The schools have done a tremendous job by quickly adapting the way programs are being taught to the students. All right, and in fact, we're very glad to tell you that France was in fact the very first country to open its borders for international travel to Indian students. Okay, so that was a brief introduction about what we are expecting and a brief scenario of the management programs in France. Now, I would request our first panel member, Mr. Nishit Jain, the Country Director, India for Grenoble École de Management, to start off the presentation, please. Over to you, Nishit.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Amrita, and thank you, co-panelists. It's a privilege to talk to, all the participants and prospective students who are exploring to get to France. So let me begin by sharing my screen, and while we'll talk about different things, that what happens in School of Management in France, let's talk a little bit on the fun side. France is, after all, not all that boring. It's fun, and part of the fun lies in the culture of France, which is unique. It's a lot about dining, the luxury products, the wining, dining, sports, and also high tech. Most people often forget the fact that France is beyond, the luxurious food and the wine and dine. I think if you look at some of the CAC 50, as we say, the top 50 companies in the world, bulk of them come from France. And also, this is an important criteria for those of you who are looking at not just learning high quality education. It's also about making good careers, and therefore it provides a great opportunity for many of you. Having said that, France also offers high quality education at a very affordable price. I think the word affordable is equally important, because everybody needs to recognize that, especially in the current scenario, and even I think going forward, if you are priced, fairly fine, I think it allows you to do better rather than stressing you out all the way and causing you, a lot of burden to take loans and finances being burnt out. So without taking any further time, let me talk about Grenoble. Grenoble, for many of you may be familiar, is an important city in France. It's also synonymously known as Silicon Valley of not just actually France, but the whole of Europe, because if you look, it's located in the south east of France, which is very close to Paris, just about 3 hours on a fast train, which is a wonderful experience. But it's also a Silicon Valley because most of the IT companies and the large tech majors originated or having significant operations in France, in Grenoble. And one of the four nano testing facilities called Synchrotron. There are only 4 such facilities in the world, and one of them happens to be in Grenoble. One of our very favorite brands in India of the sports goods, Decathlon, started in Grenoble. Capgemini having significant operations and started in Grenoble. ST Microelectronics, Schneider Electric, and the list goes on. In fact, even the global majors such as Yahoo and HP have their European headquarters for tech and research based in Grenoble. So I think the whole ecosystem is very geared towards high quality and research output which comes out of all of these interactions with the corporate world. It flows into our education system very effectively. And as we say, the DNA of Grenoble École de Management rests on technology management, innovation, and on entrepreneurship. Some of the numbers, just to give you a quick snapshot, as you see, numbers are fairly fine. We have close to about 500 and increasing people out there working. In fact, the numbers of students, if I put together all the exchange students also into this, and visiting students and other executive students, then the numbers would cross close to 10,000 students, and a variety of programs that we offer. It is also part of the ecosystem, as I was talking about, the giant innovation campus, because and Grenoble École de Management is the key and the lead player. So as you see on the left, CEA, CNRS, and several other research labs, which are the core of all the high-tech companies in Europe, and more importantly in France, are having operations in Grenoble and working very closely with Grenoble, because as we say, technology management. So while technology is created, it also needs to be marketed and taken to the next level. And that's where Grenoble plays a very significant role. One of our mission, as I said, is to remain in close context with our most important stakeholders, which is students and the corporate world, because both have a very strong bearing on each other. I would also mention the 4 pillars that we rest on: research, which plays a very important role. And you will be amazed that nearly half of our faculty is research oriented, which is unique, because in India, when you go to even the finest of the institutions, barring a very handful, I think most of the institutions are teaching institutions and they don't have their original research. And here is where the big difference lies, because innovation is a consequence of a high quality research. It is also, I mean, looking at businesses, not just to help them recruit high quality talent, but also engage with them in very different innovative products to help them look at what are the future technologies and the businesses which may come. And that's very important for businesses. And that's what allows us to work with them very closely. Some of the international footprints, in fact, I must also acknowledge that Grenoble prides itself for being number one in international space. When you talk about the French business schools, we have been the early starters for over now more than 3 decades. Grenoble's been the first and the primary international institution offering different programs, offering exchange programs, having multiple sites outside of France, and so on and so forth. These are some of the numbers. I'm sure you'll get all of that on Google, so I won't waste time there. But I really want to take you to one interesting thing, which is where we are today. I mean, we are a school which is trying to create a very positive impact on the world, trying to create inspiration for the others to learn. So acting as a role model. And that's something we also try to put forth in our graduates and the individuals who will be coming through our institution. This is what it looks like to be in Grenoble. It's not just, as I said, all that technical and academic. It's also a lot of fun. It's rated #1 city, or among the top 3, fairly, I can say very quickly, in terms of student centricity, because of sports, the Rhône-Alpes region, a lot of great mountains out there, a lot of students coming from all over the world. In fact, some of these pictures that you see are just from the window of the school. So it's right in the center. It's the valley. It's a beautiful valley, and it has hosted Winter Olympics twice in 68 and 92. It is also, I mean, having in close proximity some of the World Heritage sites, as you see. And now, more importantly, I mean, what you're looking at doing at Grenoble. So obviously, we have a series of programs, but I think today it's an era of specialization. And when I say specialization, it's very crucial, because look at yourself. I mean, when you're trying to go for a job, I mean, if you are not having significant experience, and when I say significant, I mean, significant means, I mean, good like 10, 15 years of experience, it is very unlikely that you would be given a role of a director or something. Now, having started somewhere junior, whatever the designation mean, you will be assigned a particular task, and it is expected that you do that well. And how do you do that well? If you are specialized in that role. So look at a program in business administration, or innovation strategy entrepreneurship, or even as diverse as managing a fashion and a luxury brand management business. So let's pick one. I mean, since we talked about some fun part, so let's talk about the fashion design luxury management program. This is what a typical class looks like. I mean, we are in the vicinity of about 30, 35 students on an average in our classroom, very diverse backgrounds. We are not an all India or all Chinese class, as you can fairly see, and we make sure that that diversity is maintained across all our programs. These are some of the brands which are sending their executives to teach on our program from time to time. This is what a typical classroom looks like, some of the sessions, some of the industry visits, which are again very important. In fact, most of our programs, like business development program, takes a group across different geographies in Dubai, in Singapore, in India, in Japan, in Korea, in Colombia. And this program went into Italy, into Japan. So again, it depends on which program you choose. And the idea of this international residency is basically to say that, you know, you get more exposed, you get more close to understand the real nuances of a practical learning. So while there are case-based learning, we go 2 steps further. We go into live cases wherein working with the real challenges of a company and trying to solve them. And as a part of the team, you go and work as groups on a real challenges of the companies with these kind of companies, which is also a way to put your foot in the door and eventually be recruited by some of them. In fact, we also have a very regular stream of our students in the innovation entrepreneurship going to Silicon Valley in US every year to understand how the ecosystem of the startups work. So these are some of the pictures just to give you an insight. And it's like, as we say, it's finance to fashion, predominantly for the reason because I mean, no business is successful unless you have the bottom line in place. So we really need to, I mean, work and help you understand how the business model of the luxurious brands, of the wine or the ships or the yacht or the interior business or the hotels. I mean, everywhere luxury touches many aspects, and that's what is being talked about in this kind of a program. So with this last slide, I would just give you a very quick insight that all of our master programs are on a 1+1 year model, wherein it allows you to, I mean, go into the second year, which is the thesis, which is first year of academic classroom spread into 2 semesters, and the second year is where you really work hands-on with a mentor provided by the institution and the practical guide in the industry that you work, and obviously it's paid for. And all our courses are offered in English, as Vikas just mentioned. France is the stage, the internship capital of the world, because that's the culture there. You finish your program year 1, and then second year you start a stage, which eventually for most people, if you perform well, and if you want to stay input there in France, then you have a chance to work there. And visa also is very attractive, which is followed by a 2-year stay back visa, or depending on if you want to come back to India, then you get a 5-year circulation visa for not just yourself, but your spouse and others also. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity. I hope I maintained the time and looking forward to the questions as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nishit, for giving us information about fun aspects along with academics at Grenoble École de Management. Moving on, I would like to invite Ms. Clarice from Toulouse Business School to give you more details about programs offered there. Clarice, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Clarice Guirado and I'm the International Promotion and Admissions Coordinator at Toulouse Business School. So I'm going to present you the school. I hope you can all see it. Toulouse Business School was actually created more than 100 years ago. So it's a very old school. And it was originally created in Toulouse, which is in the south of France, only 1.5 far from the Pyrenees and from Spain. And we have campuses in different places in Europe and in Casablanca also. So we are multi-campuses school, Paris, Casablanca, Toulouse, Barcelona in Spain, and London. So I'm going to present you the different programs we have. You have to know that we have actually specializations in a lot of different areas, a bit more than 30 different specializations. But we have one very specialized program, which is everything related to aerospace, because I think you know that Toulouse is the European capital city of aerospace and aviation, because the headquarters of Airbus is in Toulouse. So this is why we have several programs in aerospace through our different bachelor and master programs. And we also have a cluster in artificial intelligence and big data in our different programs. And also entrepreneurship, because Toulouse is also well known for entrepreneurship and startup in France. So that's why I'm going to show you the different programs we have, because in all the different programs we have, you will find all this cluster and specialization. So I'm going to start with the Bachelor in Management program. So for this program, as you can see, it's a 3-year program. The first year, you can start your program in Toulouse or Barcelona. And from 1 year to another, as you can see, you can switch to different campuses. The thing very interesting is that during the second year, we ask you to do an exchange program with one of our partner university abroad. We have more than 100 partner university abroad, which means that you will get a very international experience within the Bachelor in Management program. And you have to know also that during the last year, you will be able to choose one specialization among 30 different specializations. And this is where you can choose, for instance, MSc Aerospace Management, if you want. Sorry, not MSc, but Bachelor in Aerospace Management, with in partnership with the engineering school LELAC, which is specialized in aviation. And you can also choose and select finance, marketing, and other specializations. During the first year, if you want, you can start in English, and if you want to switch the language from one year to another, that's also possible. So it's one of the advantages of this Bachelor in Management. You can switch to your language and even start in Spanish during the first year. So if we recap the advantage of the Bachelor in Management, you can switch the language from one year to another. You can switch the campus if you want from one year to another. And at the end of the last year, you can choose one specialization amongst 30 different specializations. You have to know also that this Bachelor in Management is recognized by the French government, which is really important for you, which means that if you want to do a master degree later on in another university in France or worldwide, it will be possible because your Bachelor in Management is recognized by the French government. So to apply for this program, it's really easy. You just go on a website and you upload all your documents, fill in all your information. You need to apply for this program, you need a nice school diploma recognized by your country. And you need to have an IELTS 6.5 or equivalent. But if your program was entirely taught in English, then no problem. You can apply without an English test score. That's fine. And last prerequisite important, you need to be under 26 years old. That's very important. All the applications for all the programs are all the same. You apply through the same online platform. You put all your documents online. You then get an online interview that will last half an hour. And then within 5 days, you will get your results. So it's quite quick. You can have, from the day you finish your application, in like 10 days, sometimes you can have your result if you're accepted or not. And at the same time, you will know at the same time if you have discounts or scholarship. I will get back to this kind of to the discount we propose at the end of the presentation. So the tuition fees, as you can see also for the 3 years program, are 31,500 euros, so 10,500 euros per year. So that was it for the Bachelor in Management. So now I will speak quickly about the Master in Management, which is a 2 years program. So generally after the Bachelor in Management, student goes for the Master in Management. And if you are coming from a different bachelor or an engineering school, you can also try to apply for this program. So for this program, the first semester, you will have common courses in management. And you will see very quickly management applied to every field. That will be HR, finance, marketing, very quickly. And then during the second semester, you can start to pick some modules related to what you want to do in the future. And it's during the last year that you will choose one specialization over more than 100 specializations. The main advantage of this program is that whatever specialization you take during the second year, it will automatically give you a double degree because you will get a Master in Management degree. Plus, if you take an MSc diploma, then you will also have the MSc diploma. Or you can do a double degree with a partner university or school in France or abroad. And of course, during among all these specializations, you have the MSc Aerospace Management. You also have MSc Artificial Intelligence, Business Analytics, Big Data, Supply Chain, Finance, Marketing. Really, you will find a lot of different sectors. So I'm sure you will find what you like. And of course, at the end, you finish with a 6 months internship. so that at the end of the 2 years program, you have a real international experience and you have good work experience and knowledge given by professors that most of them, you have to know that most of your professors will be coming from companies. So they will be actual managers in companies that will come to teach you. So that's also very important. To apply for this program, so it's the same as the bachelor. You just go online and follow the process. For this program, you need to have a 3-year bachelor degree and an IELTS equivalent to 6.5. But if you studied your full bachelor degree in English, then it's fine. You need to be under 28 years old. Until today, the GMAT, GRE, CAT, until last year actually was mandatory. But because of the COVID-19, we know that most centers are closed now. So we have decided that this test was not mandatory. So it's a plus if you have a GMAT, but you can still apply if you don't have it. The tuition fees for the 2 years program are 28,600 euros, so 14,300 euros per year. Now our different type of master, it's the Master of Science. So for this master, actually, it's very simple. If you don't want to study 2 years, like the Master in Management, then you can skip the first year and go directly for the specialization and only do 1 year specialization, which is only the MSc Master of Science program. These are 12 months program that with an internship. The internship is not mandatory, but if you want, you can do it. And you need to do a master thesis. And again, for the MSc, you have to know that we have about 30 different MSc programs that you can take in Toulouse, Barcelona, or Casablanca. You need to know that in Toulouse, we have a lot of MScs, and most of them, almost all of them in Toulouse are accredited by the CGE, which means that if you want to stay for another 2 years in France at the end of your studies, you can apply for the visa to stay for another 2 years in France to find a job. So that's possible because they are CGE. So this is the list of some of our MSc programs. But if you want to know more, note that we have like 3 times the list written here. So you can just contact me and I will tell you more about each program. To apply, you need a 4-year bachelor degree, not a 3-year, a 4-year, because you skip the first year, as I said. So 4-year bachelor degree or master degree. And an English test score also, but as I'm sure you all studied in English, then you don't need it. And if you decide to study a program in French, because we have some program in French and English, then of course you also need the equivalent of DELF B2 because you need to speak also French. The tuition fees are from 17,000 euros for the whole program to 18,500 euros. Some programs are a little bit more expensive because you get more certifications that we need to pay for, so that's why they're a little bit more expensive. But of course, all the programs have the same quality and they are all very good MSc programs. So about the discount and scholarship, I put you a resume quickly of kind of all the discount we have. As you can see, we have discount for the bachelor, the master, and the master in management and MSc, depending on different things, especially if you have good grades, if you did good application. But also, as you can see, we have early bird discount everywhere. So if you apply now for any of our program, you will be able to get automatically 10% discount on your first year tuition fees. And for the MSc, because there is only 1 year, then 10% discount on the total tuition fees. So that would be interesting for you. And of course, we are also taking care of the EIFL scholarship, which is related to master programs. And I'm also the person in charge of the EIFL scholarship. So if you want to apply, don't hesitate to ask me. I will tell you if we can select you or not. So thank you very much for your time. I hope the time was okay. I didn't really check. So thank you for your time and see you soon.
Thank you, Ms. Clarice, for a detailed presentation. So we have our last presentation for the day. So I would request Ms. Nathalie to conclude the presentation for ESCP. Over to you. Yes.
Thank you, Vikash. So I will be sharing my screen. Hopefully you can all see.
Yes, it's perfect.
Good. So welcome to ESCP Business School presentation. So like my two colleagues before me, I will try to be as thorough as possible in the 10 minutes that we have. So we won't have time to go into the details of each and every program, but I will give you an idea of what type of degrees we offer and what the school is about. So ESCP, as you may know, is very much a European school. So it was funded 201 years ago. So we had our bicentenary anniversary last year. The school was created in 1819. It's been around for a while. And we started off as a French school in Paris, so it's still the main campus and the historical campus of the school. But we do have nowadays campuses in other European countries. So we have a location in Germany, UK, Italy, Spain, and Poland. So that will give you an opportunity if you're very interested in studying in France, to add possibly one or more other European experiences to your studies. So we have many academic alliances also. I will go over that a bit later. So you may know the school also from some of our flagship programs being ranked, for example, in the Financial Times. So the last up-to-date rankings are Master in Management is number 6 nowadays, the Executive MBA number 7, and our Advanced Master in Finance number 2. So that goes to show that it's a well-known school and well-known programs that the companies are very interested in hiring our students. We have very strong corporate relations, and the programs are well recognized in that way. We have the also the accreditations. So if you're interested in having an international career, it's always good to have multiple accreditations. So you know the school is recognized regardless of the continent where you may end up working. So we have the AACSB accreditation, the EFMD EQUIS, which is European, and AACSB is American. So you have full accreditations for the school and for most of our programs. Some quick figures. So as I just mentioned, 6 urban campuses. I'm stressing urban because you may be interested also in studying in a big city or capital city. So our campuses are always downtown and pretty close to everything that you can be interested in. So hopefully by the time you join the school, everything will be open again. Right now, as you can see from the background, we're working from home. So, but you will be by then, of course, getting many opportunities to discover the city and the country. We have 6,500 students approximately at any given time in the school. Of course, across our campuses, not everyone will be in Paris at the same time, but that also gives you an idea of the networking opportunities that you will be getting, and you will be meeting with a lot of interesting people from around the world and with very different backgrounds. We have a network of approximately 65,000 alumni, so also the community is very extensive, and you have alumni around the world. So even if you're moving back to your home country after your studies, you will still have a big group of students that have been studying at ESCP before, and you can still continue your relation with the school. More than 130 academic alliances, and we have a full portfolio of program I will detail in the next slide, and around 160 nowadays research active professors, again representing 30 nationalities, so the faculty is also very diverse and very international. So our portfolio of program ranges from a undergrad in management or bachelor, which we launched 3 years ago, to the executive PhD and pretty much everything in between. So we have also some postgrad programs, such as the Master in Management, some specialized masters. We have the MBA, full-time MBA. We have a PhD program. We offer also many courses for executives. So lifelong learning is also very much a big part of the school. And we have students who did the Master in Management program Grande École several years ago, and then they're coming back to ESCP when they're more experienced and they want to catch up on some topics. And then, of course, we're developing a lot of online programs, especially nowadays. You might be interested in doing some of the courses, at least partly remotely. So that's also a possibility for a lot of courses. So I think you might be interested also in the job placement. So I will go over this quickly, but I know your concern is also if you invest in a program and in a school, how quickly do you get your return on investment, and do you have a lot of chances of landing an interesting job? We have a very dynamic career service providing approximately 20,000 internship offers per year, 30,000 job opportunities. We work with more than 130 companies on a regular basis, a very strong alumni community, and you do get some support throughout your studies. So for example, we have career workshops, individual coaching, company presentations. We have on-campus job fairs, which are industry specific. So the main one that come to my mind, consulting, finance, banking, the tech industry. You will have a dedicated day on each of our campus, so you can meet directly with company representatives and talent managers, and you can submit a resume and get some feedback on your profile. So it's a bit of a first foot in the door in some of the main companies. I listed some of them because I know you sometimes you just want to get some names, but we work with most of the big four consulting firms, most of the financial institutions, bank, insurance, luxury industry, more and more. So with L'Oreal, with Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, those brands which you may know, and also, of course, more and more in the tech industry, the digital industry. So we have Amazon, Google, so a lot of also IT companies are recruiting. And also one point that I think you would be interested in was financing your studies and scholarship opportunities. So for non-EU students, we do have merit scholarships for some of our programs, so that can range from 25% to 100% of the tuition fees. and that's based on your ranking in the admission round. Then for Indian students specifically, you can ask Campus France. I think they're a great source of information and of help and support for the Sharpak Scholarship, for example. You have the Eiffel Scholarship, which is available to all international students. And then obviously today we're focusing on France, but if you get to study in another European campus, you may also get some support from the local government in Germany, in Spain, and the UK, depending on where you go. So I'm trying to wrap things up quickly. Let me know if we're running out of time, Vikash and Amrita.
You can take 1 more minute.
1 more minute, good, because this is the last slide. So basically, yeah, just in a nutshell, the school is really here to help you work in an international, multicultural environment. So it's really about preparing you for an international career, and also to give you the possibility of experiencing different cultures and learning more about the different European cultures, so you can be best prepared for your career. So we hope to hear from you soon. Contact us if we can help you with your study plan, and we'll be happy to chat. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nathalie. Thank you for the insightful presentation, and I think all 3 panelists, kudos to you. I mean, while your presentation was going on, we have managed to sort of pick up on a few questions that I would like to ask if time permits. Yes, we do have some time. So my first question to the panel members is GMAT and GRE mandatory to get admission in a B school? Or maybe you can also add, if not GMAT and GRE, do you also accept any other standardized tests? We can probably start in the same order. Nishit, followed by Ms. Clarice and Nathalie. Quickly, your comments, please.
I would, thanks Vikash. I would just say that while GMAT is an important reflection of how good you are on the quantitative side, but it is also a function of what program you're choosing. If you're choosing a finance, yes, GMAT becomes a very important key factor. But if you're looking at something as basic as marketing, or maybe another program which is more general management, then GMAT may not be the most essential. So it's really a balance of your background, overall profile, experience, and it would vary from one student to the other. So the best is to check with us, I guess, sharing your profile, and we can guide you from there on as to which is the most appropriate program to go forth.
Thank you. And Ms. Clarice, would you like to add on to that question?
So for TBS, as I said before, normally for the Master in Management, you need a GMAT, but as I said, because of the COVID-19 this year, we decided that it was not mandatory. It's not mandatory for any other courses, but of course, if you have a CAT, GMAT, or GRE, it's a plus, but it's not mandatory.
Perfect. And Ms. Nathalie, your views on it?
Yeah, so I will echo both Nishit and Clarice. We do require GMAT or GRE or CAT for some of our programs. So for the flagship program Master in Management, for the full-time MBA, for the specialized Master in Finance, it is a requirement. I know some organizations have been able to have a remote version of the test. So for example, the GMAT is available online, the GRE is available online, and I was told that those online tests are here to stay. So even if the COVID stops eventually, they still feel like it's a very flexible option for students when they have so much to prepare at the same time and studying and taking tests. So we really strongly encourage, in the case that they can't do it when it's a required part of the application, we have an in-house test that's available to some of them for some programs, so they can do also online an online logic aptitude test that can replace. But We really prefer to have an official test score because it's accepted in every school and it's really an investment in their future. And I think it shows that they're really genuinely interested in the program. So.
Perfect. Thank you. We have more questions, but I think we are out of time. But I would request all the students to, please reach out to the panel members on their respective booths. You can ask all the questions that you have. So please do make use of that. And before we end today's session, I'd just request all the panel members to just give a quick closing statement, starting with Nishit, Clarice, and Ms. Natalie, please.
Well, I would say that given the current scenario and the future scenario, I think one of the most important things we like to highlight is to build in agility. I'll leave you with that word. So agility is something we really teach, we practice, and we encourage you to do the same, because scenarios of future cannot be predicted, and therefore you need to be adaptive and be able to execute in the new scenario very quickly. Thank you.
Ms. Clarice.
Don't be afraid by what's going on now. And I know it's complicated, but all schools have put in place online courses also. So don't stop your dream now, and you can still start online if worst case scenario, and then you can come to France as soon as you can. So keep hope, and I'm sure everything is going to be fine for next September intake.
Yes, and Ms. Natalie, finally, your statement as well.
Yeah, I will very much say that you need to keep working on your study plan. Don't give it up because of the current situation. We have a lot of international students that managed either to come to our Paris campus, or they started online and they will catch up in the second semester whenever it's possible to travel again for them. So we managed to organize everything from a distance, and I think it's a great time to think about your future, to reflect, on what you want to do and to prepare. So since we have more time to dedicate to the study plan, stick to it, and we really cannot encourage you enough. And of course, we're here to help. So contact the schools of your choice, and make sure that you don't give up.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Really, again, I'd like to thank all the panel members, Mr. Nishit, Ms. Clarice, Ms. Natalie, my co-moderator, Ms. Amruta Datta, for conducting this session. And hopefully all the students, did receive very useful insights, and, they'll be looking forward to speaking with you in the coming days as well. And for the students who have registered for the hospitality studies webinar after this, please stay tuned, and good evening, bon weekend, au revoir, ciao. Thank you.